Hello, and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Shehu Said. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. The presidency says President Bola Tinubu is well ahead of the orchestrated game unfolding in America following threats by U.S. President Donald Trump to take action over alleged anti-Christian violence in Nigeria. In a statement, Presidential aide Bayo Onanuga said President Tinubu had already taken decisive security steps by reshuffling the military leadership and demanding results from the new service chiefs, while urging innovation and use of technology to tackle emerging threats. And meanwhile, Presidential spokesman Daniel Bwala confirmed that President Tinubu and President Trump are expected to meet soon, either in Abuja or Washington, to discuss the claims of Christian genocide and reaffirm both leaders' commitments to combating terrorism and strengthening bilateral ties. To other matters, federal government has announced plans to release 11.9 billion naira within 72 hours to settle part of the salary and allowance arrears owed to medical professionals. The announcement comes hours after the National Association of Resident Doctors began an indefinite strike over what it described as the government's failure to meet its demands. Head of Information and Public Relations at the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, Alaba Balogun, confirmed the development in a statement on Saturday. To the judiciary, the Imo State Judiciary has commenced the 2025-2026 legal year with a strong call for judicial reforms, improved welfare for judges, and renewed confidence in the justice system. Our correspondent Amarachi Ibe reports from Owerri.
It was a solemn yet symbolic ceremony at the Justice Oputa High Court Complex, Owerri, as members of the bench, the bar, and top government officials converged to mark the new legal year with the theme Rekindling Judicial Excellence, the bar, the bench, and the burden of restoration. Governor Hope Uzodinma, represented by his deputy Chinyere Komaru, reaffirmed his administration's commitment to upholding judicial independence and ensuring better working conditions for judicial workers.
Restoring judicial excellence is a task that must be accomplished urgently. A lot of people are resorting to self-help, and impunity is growing in the land because the populace are losing faith in the machinery for administration of justice.
The acting Chief Judge of Imo State, Justice Ijeoma Agogua, in her keynote address, reflected on the history and essence of legal year tradition. She called for modernization of court processes through digitalization, improved infrastructure, and stronger protection of citizens' rights. The chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association, Owerri Branch, Barrister Chris Ihentuge, emphasized cooperation between the bench and the bar and appealed for the resumption of Monday court sittings to ease case congestion.
Let us together build a justice system where the poor can walk into court without fear, where judgments are delivered promptly, and where every arm of government operates in its constitutional space with mutual respect.
Also speaking, the chairman of the Body of Senior Advocates of Nigeria, Imo State, Chief Mike Ahamba San, commended the judiciary's resilience and urged continued courage in defending the rule of law. The ceremony ended with renewed commitment from all stakeholders to strengthen justice delivery and uphold the ideas of fairness, integrity, and judicial excellence. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
To housing issues, Residents of the Federal Capital Territory are lamenting over the unprecedented hardship as rental prices surge. Tenants report staggering price increase in the housing sector as the cost of living has taken a new turn. Sadia Yakubu has the details. Moving on now, social media, once a space for fun and connection, has grown into one of the most powerful tools shaping the world today. But with that influence comes consequence. From empowering small businesses to affecting mental health, social media is changing how people think, live, and interact, both for better and worse. Our correspondent Sadia Yakubu takes a deeper look at the impact of social media on individuals and society.
Social media is everywhere on the phones, in our homes, shaping communication and understand the world around. It bridges borders, drives conversations, and often sparks change. From business growth and political engagement to digital education and health awareness, it's transforming nearly every aspect of modern life, but there is another side. Misinformation spreads rapidly, disrupting elections, influencing public health discussions, and sometimes endangering peace.
The good side of social media is that you get connected to people positively, and at the other side again, you get connected to people negatively.
Social media has also been linked to rising cases of anxiety, depression, and body image issues, especially among young people who struggle with the pressure to live up to a filtered, picture perfect reality.
It has impacted the world positively, created businesses, created the interconnection between people, and made people more better off.
Cyberbullying, online harassment, and echo chambers are becoming all too common, affecting mental well-being and how we view ourselves and others. Social media is not inherently good or bad.
Yeah, negative impact like 70%, positive impact like 30%. See, most people now think social media is real. It's a myth, it's not real.
Social media is not inherently good or bad. It is a tool. Depends on its impact, depends on how we choose to use it. Whether it builds or breaks, uplifts or undermines is ultimately.
We need to be mindful of how we use social media. It's not just about the platforms themselves, but also how individuals choose to engage with them. Are we prioritizing genuine connections over superficial interactions? Are we critically evaluating the information we consume on social media? Social media is a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or ill. Sadia Yakubu, Global Television.
That report on increase in rent housing in the FCT is now ready. Federal Capital Territory are lamenting, that is the inhabitants of the Federal Capital Territory are lamenting over the unprecedented hardship as rental prices surge. Tenants report staggering price increase in the housing sector as the cost of living has taken a new turn. Sadia Yakubu has the details.
The Nigerian capital, Abuja, once known for its affordable housing and well-planned districts, is now among the most expensive cities to live in West Africa. But what's driving these rent hikes? From high-rise apartments in the center of Abuja to modest flats in most areas, one thing is clear. Rent and property prices have skyrocketed, rising by more than 100% in some areas in less than 2 years. Nigerians attribute the rent on inflation and naira devaluation, which have pushed the cost of building materials to record highs.
High cost of building materials in the market. A bag of cement was sold last 2 years for 4,500 and or even less. But now we are getting it for
almost 10,000 naira. At least with that, you'll see that the cost of building houses now in Abuja is very, very on the high side.
Now that things are very expensive, things are on the high side in the market, you get, like you say, okay, I just start building that property now and I'm going to buy cement. Cement is like, okay, on the high side, and then all these materials, building materials are high. But these properties, you've made gain because it has been there for ages. So now what's the main reason? I just want to understand, what is the main reason that landlords and caretakers are increasing the price?
There you have it, mixed reactions trailing the surge in affording a rent in the nation's capital. The appeal is for the government to intervene, especially in the satellite towns for the citizenry. Sadia Yakubu, Global Television.
Thank you, Sadia. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, said its operatives have uncovered a clandestine laboratory where Colorado, a synthetic strain of cannabis, is being produced in a residential building located at Ajao Estate, Isolo, Lagos. NDLEA said its operatives recovered large quantities of freshly cooked colors and various precursor chemicals used in drug production. This was announced in a statement by Femi Babafemi, Director of Media and Advocacy, NDLEA Headquarters, Abuja, disclosing that a 30-year-old lab owner, Stephen Kelechi Imo, was arrested. And in a related development, the National Agency for Food, Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, says it has destroyed no fewer than 80 containers of fake and substandard medicines and foods as part of its nationwide enforcement drive. The Director, Investigation and Enforcement, Chairman, Federal Task Force, NAFDAC, Martins Eluemade, made this known at a press briefing to hint the public about a recent attack on its officials at the trade fair market in Lagos. He stated that over the years, the agency has battled a persistent challenge of fake, substandard and counterfeit medicines and food items flooding Nigerian markets, particularly in major commercial hubs like Lagos. The Senior Special Advisor to President Bola Tinubu on Community Engagement, North Central, Dr. Abiodun Esiet, says Nigeria can achieve lasting peace and prosperity through unity and strengthened social cohesion among diverse groups. She stated this at a community workshop and inauguration of community-based peace structures in Benue State. Our Benue State correspondent, Felicity Indire, reports.
The workshop, organized by the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Community Engagement, North Central, in collaboration with the International Communities Organization and the North Central Development Commission, brought together key stakeholders to deepen peace efforts across Benue State.
To take the center stage of shaping our community's peace structure, you have been carefully selected, brought together in collaboration with the federal government in addressing the prevailing criminal activities in our communities.
Dr. Abiodun Esiet at the event explained that the structures will also serve as grassroots information channels, ensuring communities remain connected to the federal government programs and national development policies.
The federal government is just putting a structure for sustainability, showing that Mr. President is concerned about sustaining peace in Benue State and is also ready to support the state government in making sure that there is a lasting peace in Benue State. But first, understanding the concerns. So we are here, people have shared concerns and they will be given the opportunity to share concerns, and we'll work with them to see how we address those concerns in partnership with other stakeholders that are here.
Participants, including traditional rulers, women groups and religious leaders, pledged to work together to advance peace and development.
Why is it that people are still being killed and we come to sit down and talk about peace and everybody claps? People are still dying. People can't go to their farms. Women can't go to the stream. Why are results not coming? You hear about MACBAN, you hear about Noyetiala, you hear about JNI. JNI is a religious organization, I suppose. They are the brothers and sisters of these herdsmen who come from the bush to kill us.
Our president, our father, our husband, that the governor of Benue State is trying very well to ensure that there should be peace.
But because of what is happening outside, but these people that are coming there, we don't know where they are coming. They are from the bush. I'm from West, very prone to it. The road is not passable at all.
I want to thank you and also assure you that we will participate fully and also ensure that we support all the processes that are going to be laid down here today.
Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia, represented by his deputy Sam Udi, commended the initiative, noting that it aligns with the administration's commitment to peace and stability.
I want to say that the issues of insecurity, we are working on them as a state. We are doing so consciously in collaboration with the federal government. There are platforms that have been created to address most of these issues.
With the new peace structures across the 23 local governments of the state, stakeholders aim to strengthen collaboration, address conflicts, and promote peaceful coexistence for a safer and more united.
You are watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. When we return, 21 die, over 30 missing after heavy rains in Kenya. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Thank you for being there, and we start with business. Despite the country's persistent lack of electricity, over 10,000 megawatts of electricity are being wasted across different idle plants scattered across the country. Nigeria's Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, decried the country's wastefulness in the energy sector, revealing that more than 10 gigawatts of generation capacity remains stranded nationwide, while millions of citizens live in darkness. Speaking at the just concluded Nigeria Energy Conference in Lagos, the minister said the country's immediate problem is not generation, but the inability to transmit and distribute the energy already available. And the trend of micro and small businesses in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, is becoming alarming, facing the city and making it more of a market than the administrative capital it was designed to be. This phenomenon has not only become a common sight all over Abuja, but is fast redefining the perception of the city by both residents and visitors. Sadia Yakubu provides insights on the dynamics of hawking and its implication.
The practice of selling goods on the streets or along roads has become an increasingly visible feature in Abuja, despite the city's status as a planned urban center with strict regulations. Hawking persists as a daily survival strategy for many. At the Federal Secretariat, for instance, business of food items and other household commodities is patronized by people who work in the area. Although hawking is prohibited in the city center, many of the vendors, especially young people and women, resort to selling items such as snacks, drinks, electronics, and clothing due to lack of gainful employment opportunities. Respondents speak on major factors driving this trend.
My own problem is say as the country they had, may they just allow us more they manage our life they go. Anything what we see, more just they manage to survive with our children.
As women in the society, in the community, so we are strong to feed our children. But the task they are always disturbing us.
People from less developed regions migrate to Abuja in search of better livelihoods, often end up in setting up small businesses like hawking and selling of items for survival. Street hawking in Abuja reflects broader socio-economic challenges. While regulatory enforcement is necessary, long-term solutions must address poverty, unemployment, and inclusive urban planning. Sadia Yakubu here, Global Television.
We go to the foreign scene, where at least 21 people have been confirmed dead and more than 30 others are still missing after a devastating landslide hit western Kenya overnight. The tragedy occurred in Marakwet East following heavy rainfall that triggered flash floods and mudslides across the region. Mukhtar Kasim reports.
Massive torrents of water swept through villages in Marakwet East, flattening homes and destroying farmlands. Authorities say the landslide began in the early hours of Saturday, catching many residents in their sleep. Search and rescue teams, including volunteers and emergency responders, walked through the morning to recover bodies and locate survivors. Kenya's Interior Minister confirmed the loss of 21 lives and said over 30 people remain unaccounted for. He announced that the operation was suspended overnight due to poor visibility, but will resume at daybreak. The Kenyan Red Cross has shared aerial images showing the widespread scale of destruction, with mudslides and flash floods stretching over vast areas. Emergency shelters have been set up for displaced families as rescue teams intensify efforts to reach cut-out communities. Authorities are appealing to residents living on steep slopes to relocate immediately as the rain continues. Kenya's government says preventing further tragedy is now the top priority. As rescue operations continue, families across the Marakwet East are left counting their losses, hoping for answers, and mourning loved ones lost to nature's fury. Mukhtar Kasim, reporting for Global Television News.
What a tragedy. Moving further to Europe, British police are investigating a mass stabbing aboard a London-bound train on Saturday night. Several passengers were injured and 2 suspects were arrested. Authorities say there is nothing to suggest terrorism. Again, Mukhtar Qasim reports.
The attack happened around 7:40 p.m. on a train from Doncaster to London's King's Cross. The train made an emergency stop at Huntingdon Station, where armed officers quickly boarded and detained 2 men within minutes. 10 people were hospitalized, though most have now been released. 2 victims remain in critical condition.
Is here good, ladies and gents? A bit closer. Good. 10 people were taken to hospital by ambulance and another person self-presented later that evening. While 9 were initially believed to have life-threatening injuries, following assessment and treatment, 4, thankful to say, have been discharged. However, 2 patients remain in a life-threatening condition. British Transport Police declared a major incident yesterday, and counter-terrorism policing were initially supporting our investigation. However, at this stage, there is nothing to suggest that this is a terrorist incident.
Police confirmed both suspects were born in the United Kingdom and appealed for calm amidst false claims circulating online. Prime Minister Keir Starmer called the attack deeply concerning, while King Charles said he was appalled and shocked. Train services through Huntingdon remain disrupted as investigations continue. Knife crimes have surged across England and Wales in recent years, fueling public concern and prompting call for tougher laws and community engagement. Mukhtar Kasim, reporting for Global Television News.
Of sports, the Nigeria Premier Football League enters another decisive weekend as 2 headline fixtures take center stage, with Rivers United hosting league leaders Nasarawa United in Port Harcourt and Niger Tornadoes welcoming in form Abia Warriors to Mina. Both matches carry significant weight in this title race, with all 4 teams eager to assert their dominance as the season gathers pace. At the Adoke Amesi Emeka Stadium, Rivers United face a stern test against a confident Nasarawa United side determined to maintain their grip on the summit. And in Europe, Wolves have dismissed head coach Vitor Pereira following a dismal start to the Premier League season, with the team failing to win any of their opening 10 games and collecting just 2 points. The Portuguese manager, who signed a new 3-year deal in September after steering Wolves to safety last season, leaves the club bottom of the table and 8 points adrift of safety following a 3-0 defeat to Fulham. The Raiders' exit comes amid mounting fan frustration over poor performances, key player departures, and what supporters describe as a lack of investment from the club's Chinese owners. That's it on Global TV News Cycle. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @GlobalTVNG. I am Shehu Said, hoping to join you again on at 8 o'clock on Global Prime News.